Hi, my name is Nikolas Denzien. Today is Monday, April 16th. The time is 4 o'clock p.m., and we are at the St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. I am interviewing Charles Payne, who was born July 29th, 1918, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and served in the World War II between 1940 and 1941. Charles was a sergeant in the Army and served as a military police NCO. This interview is sponsored by the Bell Tower Memorial. Okay, Charles, so what were you doing before you entered the service?
Well, I happened to be with the 32nd Division of National Guard, Richard Street Armory in Milwaukee. And they took the horses away and made us light 75s. And from there on, we went for basic training in Louisiana, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And we had a changeover from artillery, from horses. I didn't go there. I went there for a year's training. And so on, I got out, and we went, I'm jumping the gun. We were waiting for the train to take us to Little Rock, Arkansas, and we were throwing a football around, and I broke my arm, broke my wrist. And so I got on a train with a broken wrist, and we landed in Arkansas, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I did my training in a place that was called Camp Disregard. Now we're down there for a while, and everything was very crude. And so all of a sudden, we were moved over to Camp Livingston. And that was fully equipped with everything that we had, and 5 fellows in a room, and a barracks and everything. And so from there on, we took over, and they were short of MPs, and they were going to have maneuvers. So I joined the MPs, and I was an MP, and we was in maneuvers down there in Louisiana, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so all of a sudden, I served my time down there, a year on maneuvers, directing traffic with the MPs. And what happened was, I got out with a discharge in my hand, and I was on my way home in Chicago, and a MP stopped me and he said, "Where are you going?" I told him I'm going home, I got a discharge. He says, "Did you hear the news?" I said, "No." He said Pearl Harbor was bombed. So when Pearl Harbor was bombed, I had to go back home. I went to Battle Creek, Michigan for a little training, went to Fort Ord down there, and then we met McCarthy. We spent all the boats. We found out that that island was full of 7,000 islands in the Philippines. And there was Luzon, Visayan, and Mindanao group. So here we are. What are we going to do? We're on a boat going towards with all different people on there, and we don't have enough help. So all of a sudden, they dropped us off at Leyte, and then we took a plane from Leyte to Cebu, which was the headquarters. And from Cebu, they sent me to an island called Bohol, Bohol. And I was on that island for a year and a half. And we worked it out. We had a big sign on it. What was that called? Tent. What? Headquarters, Military Police Command. And we only had 2 lieutenants, Lieutenant Jones and Lieutenant Raposa. And we only had 3 men. Now, what happened was, this was the one that saved my neck, was putting me on an island.
He'll ask you.
Tell me more questions.
Yeah, I do have some more questions. Those are some really awesome stories you have shared with me so far. So, what do you think was your first initial reaction when you first arrived at Pearl Harbor and all the chaos going on? What was your first thoughts and first reaction after seeing all that?
Where?
At Pearl Harbor, when you first got there.
We didn't get to Pearl Harbor. No, we went to Fort Ord, and we picked up a boat with all different people on there, and then we landed at Leyte. And from Leyte, we took a plane to Cebu. And from Cebu, they decided to put me and my men, or whoever was on there, on an island of Bohol. Okay. So what was any more? You got any more questions?
Yep.
Awesome. So I have another question for you, Charles. Okay, so tell me about your early weeks of training. You stated that you like around that time you broke your arm and went on a train. That must have been very tough for you to persevere through that experience. So tell me about your early weeks of training and how you adapted to the military life.
And what?
You adapted to the military. You broke your arm.
Oh yeah, no, sure. I had two guys to help me with a broken arm, and somebody broke his leg, and so we had to go to a hospital in New Orleans, Baton Rouge. And there we stayed with gowns on and all that stuff until we were healed. Then we went back to duty. We had a bivouac, maneuvers down there. So we did maneuvers down there, and then we moved up to this place I was telling you about. It was a good camp, and we worked out of there. And then we had to go and patrol the area and see how many Japs were on there. And the Japs were up in the mountains chased by the Filipinos. So there was only a few. And if they caught them, they'd bring them back down to us. And then we'd put them in a prison, little prison that we kept until some big outfit would come along and take them back to Cebu. And I was on the island of Bohol. It was unbelievable, quiet. And the Merkel division had been in there with their tanks, so they cleaned out everything. And we were there with the military police command. We had to run over everything. Anything else?
Yeah. So once you arrived at the island, how was the culture like at the time with all the Filipinos and the Japanese? How were you guys treated by all the locals in the area?
Very good. They speak English, and they had nuns. They baked our bread, and we bartered with them for fish out of the water. And so we lived a real good life at that point. And until they got a few Japanese and then brought them down. And then we had, we were comfortable. It was very nice people. They had a lot of stores and a lot of food they were exchanging. But we had canned goods, all canned goods. And so it worked out good for us on that island. And so I can't complain about that. It was a good island.
Awesome. Share with me an example of strong leadership you encountered in the military.
What?
Leadership. You were a supervisor.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, that took place. I happened to learn typing in high school, and I got the morning reports out until I had to get some help from the civilians. And then I got the morning reports, and I taught him how to make out our morning reports that he could take over in the civilians. So we didn't have a problem with the civilians.
What did you all write about in those morning reports?
What?
What did you put in the morning? What did you put in the morning?
Morning reports? I made them out in the morning.
Like, what did you include inside them? Like, what did you write about?
Oh, the name of everybody at the time, and what we're doing there, and whatever Lieutenant Jones wanted something done, he would. This is the payoff, though. You know what? He was there over there. This Lieutenant Jones. He was looking for his wife. He married a wife, and he's looking for his wife. And he was going from Cebu until late day trying to find her, and he found her on the island of Cebu.
Wow.
And so he brought her back. Unbelievable. He was from Minnesota. I can't believe that. Anything else?
Yeah. So what were some? I guess I know war is a very tough subject to talk about and such. Were there any like fun things that you guys did as part of a group in the military?
What
did you do for fun?
Oh, for fun, not much. It was like a paradise island, and we're going out in the water, and we would talk to the fishermen, and then get some fish and barter with them and canned goods. But there was no activity for us except getting a jeep and go, and we could go where we wanted to and through the island, but we had to be careful. So I always had somebody with me, and then I would come back, and we would see what we had lined up for the next day. We just got along with the people, and with the few people, Americans, that were there on the island. All these islands, there's 7,000, so we had it made on this island because they had broke down the Japanese and already are taking care of them. They were out of ammunition, no guns, nothing. So it was very quiet, and I was there a year and a half. Excuse me.
You're good. Awesome. So, would you say that all of the people that you were around were friends with you, and all of you guys really had a strong connection with each other?
What's that?
You had a lot of friends over there?
Military friends?
Over there?
No. When the Navy ships could come in, they'd bring us a little beer. And when the Navy would come in, or the, what do you call it? We had a banca. And we had to go back to Cebu and pick up supplies. And that was the extent of it, except what we did on the island for ourselves, or to help the people, to help them in jail and get out of jail. And here's the strange part about the Philippines. The people have to pay for them to keep them in jail. So they released them when they knew the Japanese were coming. And they gotta let them go and told them to come back. But at that point in the game, we never had any problem.
Wow.
It was very, very picturesque and very unusual situation we got into, but a good one.
Awesome.
So that's all I can tell you. So anything else?
Yeah. Well, what do you consider to be your most important contribution during your service?
What's the contribution?
Yeah.
Well, being on that island, I mean, we had to take over an island. Everybody had to go and get a different island and hang in there. And then if they, what they did, I didn't know. I only knew from the base one, Cebu, that they would supply us with certain foods, certain canned goods, and all that stuff. We'd have to go back over there in a bunker, or if the sea beams came along and dropped something off, or would they get out and look at our place? Always activity. That's all that I can tell you on that island. I mean, I don't know anything about the other islands.
No, that's awesome. So with all the fighting going on, what do you think when on the island? What was the thing that kept you going? Like, what was the thing that kind of drove you as each day kept getting worse and worse?
Well, letters coming in from outside, and we read them, over and over again, and then seeing what everybody was doing in town. And we had good communication. That was the good part about it. And we can only listen to what the lieutenant said and what the other lieutenant said and what they did. That's all I can tell you. I mean, as far as I know, it was an unbelievable experience. That it was all so quiet and a beautiful island. And they had 7,000 islands in the Philippines. Anything else?
Yeah. What are some of the life lessons you've learned from military service?
I'm going to say obey the orders. Obey and do what they tell you to do. And that was all I can tell you. You obey the orders and you come out all right. Anything else, if you disobeyed them, you were in trouble because they would send over people from Cebu headquarters, find out what is going on over there. So it was unbelievable.
What was the scariest moment while you were in the service?
What was the most
Scary areas. Were you ever scared in the military?
Oh, yes. I'm sitting there at the desk, and along comes these fishermen, and they take hand grenades and they put them on my table. And where did you get these from? From the water. I said, holy man, put them back on my Jeep. We're going to take them back down to the water and blow them up. We didn't want no hand grenades around there at all. So that was an experience I'll never forget, because if they were alive, we wouldn't be here. So it was things that happened like that, little black market stuff going on, and stuff like that. So anything else?
Yeah. Did you write back to your family while you were in the Philippines?
Did I what?
Write letters?
Oh, yeah, I sent letters back home. Oh, yes, all the time. That kept you interested in what you're doing, and that, like I say, this was a very unusual situation. And we had to fall into a category like this. And knowing what I knew and doing what I did, I survived real good. So I come out of it real good.
Awesome. What was your initial reaction once you first found out that the war was over?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. MacArthur, when Truman would come over there and use those bombs on Japan. Then we got word about it and everything, and they come over for us to pick us up about a week later, maybe 2 weeks. And then we wrap up everything with the natives, with everything, and turn over everything to them. And we got on a boat and come home, past Treasure Island, past Alcatraz, went to another island, and then we got home clothes and had a good meal. And that was part of the whole deal. It was really unbelievable good.
So once you got back, was there a big celebration for you and for all the soldiers that served?
It was.
Did they celebrate that from the war? Did they have
Well,
parties?
we had to go down, and I had to go to Seattle to pick up my daughter and my wife. I think I got married before that. I can't remember that part in there. So it was very. I picked her up with her, and her father and mother lived in Seattle, and I went to took the train, and we took it back to Milwaukee. We tried to get a place to live. And that was hard to find in those days. Try to get a place to live, and we finally got a flat on Kramer Street in Milwaukee. So it wasn't a bad experience. Everything worked out. But you gotta follow orders, and you gotta do what you're told to do, and you do it. And that's the only thing that changed me. Is I had to do what they told me to do. So and that was I can't believe it yet that's the most beautiful island I ever was on. I can't believe it yet that all this turned out with being in this island and seeing how the people lived. Oh, and then wait a minute. I'll tell you what happened to me when I got here in Milwaukee. I went to the hospital in Menominee Falls, and I said to this girl, "You're a Filipino?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "Whoa." I said, "I don't believe it." I said, "You were there and I never knew her, And she was from that island that I was on. All the rest were all separated, on all different islands. And so I can't remember all the names of a lot of them. But the bad part was that Luzon and Mindanao and the Visayan group, we were all divided up into good spots. But and then the war ended, so that was the best news there was. I mean,
Another question. Another question.
Yeah.
Okay. So you taught military police duties during the war. Tell me more about that.
Oh, the military police?
Yeah, you teaching about it.
Well, we started out on maneuvers. We knew something was going to happen. And we're down in the Little Rock, and when the maneuvers, I joined the MPs, and we directed traffic in the street and all that but I served a year, and after I served my year, I asked for a discharge, and I got it. And I was on my way home. I had served a year in maneuvers. And I had quite a time in French quarters, Mardi Gras, Lake Pontchartrain. I went to all that stuff with the police department. We worked with the police department down there. And I got a lot of experience from that. Another fellow was with me, walk into these places, check the soldiers, and if they were drunk, they would take them back, come back. No, there was no problem.
Wow. So
For us, I'm talking about, just myself and other people. Oh, yeah.
So, Charles, you mentioned before that when you were heading back home on the train, you were stopped and you were told that you had to go back into deployment because you found out that Pearl Harbor was attacked. How did that impact you? Like, what did you feel once you heard that news?
I was ready to go because I was on my way home. I had served my time. I got home and they called me and said, you got to go back in. I went to Fort Custer and I went to Fort Ord and I hopped on a boat and it was all like ducks out in the water, all boats. We were all headed up to Japan. And all of a sudden, they had to change the orders because they found out there's 7,000 islands. And where are they going to put all these people? And do everything that they did, and they did the right thing. And then the war was ended. I mean, after a while, we were losing. When all the ships and all that stuff, we were losing. You know that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were losing until they bombed Japan. And Truman was there, and MacArthur. MacArthur was on the island, and who was I said that one? Well, Truman. Truman is one that was the president of the United States. So it was a real good outfit.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you're very passionate about obeying orders. Were there any orders that were given to you that you didn't necessarily wanted to obey and you didn't really agree with them?
In this case, no. There was nothing that I do. The black market was taken care of. The police department we took care of. The eating we took care of in the best we could with canned goods. But outside of that, it was a very good eventful. I can't complain. Anyway, when we got our clothes done, we give them to the girls to wash our clothes, the natives, and all things like that. So it was very good.
All right. So how did the war impact your family back home?
How did it affect them? Well, it was affected everybody. Affected a war going on. That was no good. We had Rosie the Riveter and doing all this stuff and that stuff. And everybody had to get a job and work for the army. And everything was done. I mean, you had to fight the Japanese. No question about it. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I just happened to be in a spot where there was less activity than the big stuff.
Awesome. So while you were fighting, I know the soldiers celebrated a bunch of holidays like Christmas and Easter to kind of take a break from war. How were those, or how was it like participating in those?
Well, that's hard to say. It happens when something happens there, you know about it. I mean, on the island, I mean, you know everything that's going on. Down the road, a dog gets run over by a Jeep, and you know all the little things that happen. So I can't talk about the big stuff from Manila and all the airports and all that stuff. I can't talk about that. You can only talk about the one island and what happened to me this time, and I'm back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I was born. So,
Awesome.
any other questions?
Yeah. So going all the way back when you first entered the military, why did you enter it in the first place?
Well, I was a National Guard out of Richard Street Armory. they had horses and they took them away and made us light 75s, battery C. I got down there with this broken arm. I couldn't do nothing in the artillery. So I transferred over to the MPs. Then I got in the MPs, and then we worked around the maneuver. And then I was called in to discharge with a discharge in my hand. And I got to Chicago and they told me that Pearl Harbor was bombed. And I said, oh no, I gotta go back in. I went back in and that was, you heard the rest of the story.
Yeah. So what were some of those maneuvers that you did?
But
What were some of those maneuvers that you taught and participated in?
oh well, it was all the maneuvers were down there in the whole area. I would direct traffic on the corner, directing traffic, telling the guys where to go and where everybody has to go. So no, it was maneuvers just like Army, every Army had some maneuvers, and they got these guys going around and the chief. You get their names of all the head ones, and they follow you around and see if you're doing the right job. And they did a good job. So I got to get a drink of water, okay?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What you did after the war? Where'd you work?
After the war, I went to what's the name of that place in West Dallas?
Yeah.
The place I went to. No. Anyways, I went there. I got a job as a safety man, and then I left that, and I got a job at the Pabst Brewery. It was hard to get a job then because it was all Union and Germans, and so I got in there, and I worked there 32 years, Pabst Brewery. And my wife with me, and she died at 75 years old.
Sorry.
And she had Parkinson's. Any other questions?
Yes. So you talked a lot about the food and the culture, about when you were on the islands in the Philippines. What were the living conditions like?
I'm real, what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm very
Plain? Minimal?
minimum. They were all speak English, and they could all do this and sell stuff. Chinese had their stores there, and everybody lived like we do it, only a different culture. And it was altogether different. I mean, it was good, and they were good people, and they had nuns there, and everything like that. But it was a good experience.
You live in a barracks?
Huh?
You live in a barracks? You lived in a barracks? No, in a building.
No, I lived behind my
Yes.
oh sure.
Yes.
We had these walls all built around with things going up. We lived in the bunkers. Oh yeah. It wasn't. It was easy because we could go inside if it was raining or something like that, or we doing things like that, and then we were access to any boats coming in and everything like that. It was unbelievable. Like I told you about that nurse. Yeah. In Milwaukee, she lived on the island of Bohol, and there were a lot of them came to the United States, Filipinos. A lot of them come here, and a lot here now.
Yeah. So
Oh no.
how do you
Huh?
view or not Filipinos, but more Japanese people nowadays after the war?
What's that?
How do you view Japanese people now after World War II?
What do you think?
Well, I don't see too many of them. I don't see too many of them. I mean, where I live, I mean, in Milwaukee, I don't see many Japanese. If they are, we got everything. We got everybody. We got an unbelievable amount of people. My people come from England, English. The other guys that come from France and Italy. Oh yeah, they're all the immigrants, and so we all mingled together. All went to high school. I went to Riverside High School in Milwaukee.
Yeah. So speaking of the English and the French, I'm sure you saw a bunch of them in the Philippines. How was that like? Were you guys more? Well, you guys were allies in the war, so were you more friends?
What?
Were you friends with the
English.
Huh?
Were you friends with the English on the islands?
No. We didn't have no friends on the island. All we did was do our work and keep it under control. Everything. If there was any questions, we could call Lieutenant Jones and help us out with the big problems, any big problems. Like we're running out of food or something like that. Or other things that happen when we need this and we need that. And then, we come along a long way. And the people cooperated with us, everybody. And the whole island cooperated with us. But it was a beautiful island. I can't say any more than that. It's unusual.
Charles, what was so beautiful about the island?
What?
What was so
What was so-
beautiful about the island?
It was like here in Milwaukee, down at Bradford Beach. That island, you look out at the water and everything, and it gets you back to this island. And if you only went a short ways, and you were at the other end of the island, and in a jeep. I always go with a jeep with somebody, but it was a beautiful island, and we had good people, and everything was taken care of. We had our work to do by the Army, and that was it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Charles, for sharing all those stories with me and your view and experiences during World War II.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
No problem. Okay.
Okay.
In closing, this has been an interview of Charles Payne regarding his service during World War II. My name is Nikolas Denzien. The time is 4:32 p.m. Thank you for agreeing to this interview, and most importantly, thank you for your service.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
You have a good voice.